Bakit mabaho ang utot?
Lulubog na ba ang Pilipinas?
Mahihain ba ang makahiya? Bakit bumabagyo sa Pinas?
Mga katanungang bumabagabag sa kaisipan ni Juan, halika, bigyan natin ng mga siyentipikong kasagutan. Ito ang inyong gurong lakan mula sa Bulacan, Sir Red. At ito ang Hainay na Tagham the Podcast Year 2. Pakinggan sa lahat ng major podcast streaming platforms. Tara, matuto, magsaliksik, magkaroon ng dagdag na kaalaman. Haynayan, magpakailanman.
If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take it home. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Everything is better now kumpara kanina. Ito. So let's do some retrospective kasi mamaya pag-usapan natin yung top taking the WWE rights overall doon sa kanilang platform, which is the Top Go TV and on Top Sports. Also AEW is airing on Premier Sports. So technically, dito sa Pilipinas, I think Philippines is the first country who has both WWE and AEW on one television network here in the Philippines. So it's huge for us. If you're going to ask me, it's a big deal, no? Big deal siya pag-usapan kasi alam naman natin na WWE and AEW are very different when it comes to broadcasters here. And before. And then sa US, sobrang big deal pag-usapan nitong dalawang promotion na to when it comes to their broadcast deals, no? So, pag-usapan natin, ito I don't like ito I'm saying this for weeks and for years now, but Top Go is still one of the most ridiculous broadcasters here in the Philippines. Like, after SmackDown, doon ko lang na-find out that they're the ones who's airing the shows now. And you guys are not doing promotions about it. Alam yung weird kasi fans are speculating about this whole thing with one sports not airing everything about WWE. And now, we got the answer and Top taking the broadcast rights of everything WWE. Which is good. Ito which is good, sabihin ko na agad. Kasi, for the past 2 years, 3 years nga kung tutusin, AEW and WWE is on one station. No? Not all, hindi lahat. Si SmackDown, nasa kabila yun. One Sports yun. Noon. No? With the end of the contract deal sa One Sports, ito na nga, pumasok na yung opportunity para ma-exclusive na ni Top lahat ng shows. No? So, ito, sabihin na lang natin in one perspective. Ang gandang market nito. One network, one app. Nandun na lahat ng Raw, live, SmackDown na live, NXT live. Yung replays, of course, ano yan eh, konti lang yun. Hindi yun madami. Then, if habol mo din, UFC, if gusto mo din ng AEW pay-per-views, pag tumapat, well, it's on you. If naghahabol ka din ng UEFA Champions League, ng Bundesliga, ayan. F1 kasi is on Bein Sports na. But isang ano din yon, isang package din dati yon na kasama na sa 179 na ini-air din ng Premier Sports dati. So kung tutusin, yung binabayaran mo for 179 pesos a month, it's a steal already, no? Pero mamaya i-tackle natin ng mas matindi pag nag-open na tayo ng show dito. Kung ano yung makukuha natin pagka nag-subscribe ka sa Tap Go. Ito, hindi ako sponsored pero Tap, sponsor niyo naman ako. Joke lang. So, ito, welcome to the podcast and you're listening to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast and this is the MPA Show Podcast, the Wrestling Podcast. Today is Friday, January 27. We are recording this January 26, one day before SmackDown, the eve of Royal Rumble. And there's gonna be a lot of talk here on this show today. First thing, on the top of the hour, we're going to talk about everything what's going on with Top Sports taking everything WWE. And it's a big deal. If you ask me, it's a big deal for all of us, especially everyone who's watching WWE programming in our Philippine television. It's a big deal. Number two, of course, we're going to talk about everything about Raw 30, everything about the controversies about it. We're going to talk about yung 2K23, kalalabas lang din nung Monday, so we're going to talk about that. And of course, predictions for this year's Royal Rumble. And everything what happened on wrestling, obviously. So, let's start the podcast with some huge news that we received last Friday and just confirmed last Saturday na Top Sports is now the official WWE broadcaster in the Philippines. Ayun na, for good na yun. Kasi One Sports didn't air all of the shows since New Year. Wala na nga mentions halos ng WWE on their platforms except on Twitter na ewan ko ba't hindi active. Hindi din sila naglalabas ng statements on what's going on about WWE program. Simple-simple lang mag-release ng statement eh. Sa totoo lang eh. Na eto po, hindi na po kami magpapalabas ng WWE. It's about professionalism. Tandaan niyo yung ginawa ng Fox sa kanila noon. Nung inexplain nila na mawawala na yung rights sa Fox. Ayun. Inexplain nila mabuti kung bakit mawawala sa Fox. So eventually, napunta sa TV5 na connected naman sa Signal. Then now Signal One Sports. And now, the rights is on Top Sports. So Top Sports is a different it's a different sports network here in the Philippines. So parang if ikukumpara mo yung nasa TNT papupunta ngayon sa USA. Ganun ang case. In comparison, kung if taga-India ka, if galing Sony Sports Network, napunta ngayon sa Eurosport or bigger example, Sports 18, no? So, Sports 18 in context is a rising network in India when it comes to sports. They have the World Cup, ayan. So, NBA, they're airing everything about football, La Liga, then ano yun, yung badminton. Hindi ko tanda ko nung league yon. I think it's I don't remember. And then may cricket din. Then they own also the broadcast of cricket. Hindi ko lang tanda kung anong cricket yun. I think it's yung, I don't remember. Ano nga cricket yun? I think, nasa dulo na ng dila ko. Wait. It's IPL. Ayan, IPL. Yung India Premier League. So, ina-explain lang natin mabuti kung paano natin mapapadali yung pagbibigay ng news. Siyempre, ayaw naman natin magbigay lang ng, ayan. So, ano masasabi nyo? Bla 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 bla. Labo. Ito, mas gusto ko, mas malinaw. No? So, January 1, ayun na nga, di na sila nag-air ng everything about WWE on One Sports Plus. As much as I want One Sports kaysa Tap, I'm saying this as a fan. Mas gusto ko yung way ni One Sports on airing the shows. Kasi may delayed replay din. And hindi ako magko-complain how they air the shows. Then ito, si Tap gained all of the shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Wala naman akong complain na may live, oo. Pero yung replay is nasa app. No? Tap Go TV. And wala akong complain na gano'n. Ang concern ko lang is paano yung things pag TV lang ang meron kami. For example, I have Tap Sports on my signal and also on my Sky cable or kung anong cable mo. Mag-aantay ka pa ng 12 midnight. Lahat ng shows to So kung nag-air siya Tuesday, Wednesday midnight, makapanood mo yung replay sa Top Sports. So syempre, may ads yun. Alam mo yung alarming dito. Yung replays nila nasa maling oras. Ito I'm going to give my review agad Yung replays nila, nasa midnight. Nasa graveyard shift. Nasa graveyard slot. It means sobrang late for them. No? Sobrang late nun. 12 midnight is too much. Okay, sana ko yung ginagawa nila. Yung ginagawa ni One Sports. Na magpapalabas sila ng isang show live 9 p.m. 9 a.m. rather, 9 p.m. ay 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then, magre-replay kami sila ng at least 10 p.m. o kaya 9. Puro mga replay lang din naman tong pinag-air nyo Ito, hindi ako nagko-complain about the product. Nagko-complain ako kung paano nyo ina-air yung product. Hindi na nga ako nagsasabi. Hindi ko na nga sasabihin dito na ko-complain ako bakit ang sablay nyo magputol ng commercial. Hindi ko na i-complain yun. Wala na sa akin yun. Ang i-complain ko na lang is on how they're placing the time slot. So, parang 2 beses na nga lang sa isang linggo sila o mag-air 3. Tapos, magkakahiwalay pa at late pa. Eto, I have a dumb question. Sinong manonood ng wrestling first replay midnight? Taasan pa. Wala, di ba? I know, alam ko, modern na ngayon. Wala na nga tayong WWE Network. Salamat Disney Plus. Putang ina mo pa din. Ito, sasabihin ko talaga to on record. Kasi we don't have the programming yet. As much as I love how convenient Disney Plus is, hindi ko pa rin matiis na sabihin yun na paano ba tayo makakapanood ng WWE programming nang hindi nagbabayad ng sandamakmak? Diba? I hear it. Kasi syempre, ang choice naman ng fans dyan, mag-subscribe ka kay Top 179 o magpa-cable ka, magkano ang pa-cable? 1,000. So, auto ka na lang, 179 plus 289. Kung gusto mong HD, pahati-hati mo na lang. Disney Plus, di ba? Ganun lang naman. So, eto lang naman sa akin. Top, sana naman, kung nakikinig ka man sa akin today, paagahan naman ang oras. Hindi man ako nagko-complain about you guys, how you guys earn the shows. Nagko-complain lang ako, putya. No one wants to watch wrestling at 12 fucking midnight. Akalain mo yun na 9 a.m. nag-show, tapos mag-aantay ka pa ng alas 12 ng gabi just for the replay. Like, parang minsan, marami nagagalit na ganon. Okay? So, syempre, nagbabago-bago din yung schedules nila because of regular program, of course. Pero, ang weird naman kasi na yung shows is ganon ka-late, no? Knowing WWE is their flagship show right now on Top Sports technically. Parang parang binabarat tayo. Ganun ba? Binabarat. Okay naman, okay naman. Okay ito, sabihin ko may app. Sabihin nila may app naman, pwede naman kayo mag-subscribe. Walang problema 'yon. Pero yung TV lang ang meron kami. Ayoko mag-subscribe sa Top Go. Syempre, mapapaisip ka na ano bang gagawin ko? Mag-subscribe na lang ba ako o manonood na lang ako sa TV? Ganun lang 'yon. Kung manonood ako sa TV, I have to sacrifice one thing. Kung gusto ko maging smart, mag-subscribe na lang ako sa Top Go, then subscribe ako ng Disney para makapanood ako ng events, 'di ba? Ganun lang naman 'yon. Anyways, I'm not going to rumble everything kasi 15 minutes na agad nakain ko dito. And ito, schedules of the shows by the way is Raw is airing every Tuesdays at 9 a.m. live. NXT Wednesdays 9 a.m. live. SmackDown every Saturdays 9 a.m. live. Top Sports Channel 94 if your signal, kasi may signal sa amin dati. So, I know what's going on. And if you want to subscribe on Top Go, I'm not promoting them, but sobrang convenient ng Top Go on paper. Sa totoo lang ha. On paper, sobrang convenient gumamit ng Top Go. Kasi in one tap, I can watch WWE. Pwede ko rin panoorin AEW. Kasi they air pay-per-views too. They air F1 nung nasa kanila pa yung broadcast rights. Noong nasa kanila rin ng yung Bundesliga, UEFA Champions League, if you want UFC, and yung World Cup nga nasa kanila din, which is on pay-per-view, not on the channel. Pero 179 pesos plus marami pang channels doon, hindi lang sports, no? Marami kang magugustuhan doon. May PGA Tour nga din if you are into golf. Sayang nga wala na rin yung Premier League, EPL. Wala na rin sa kanila yun. So it's still a big steal for 179 pesos. Pag subscribe ka to Top Go. Ito, syempre, kailangan yung isipin din na yung quality of the shows is okay lang. Siguro 720p or 480 yung kanilang video quality. And sana ma-adjust yung quality ng video. Maganda yung nila maganda yung ideya na may 7-day trial na pwede kaming mag-testing kung gusto namin makinig o manood sa inyo. Sige, salamat doon. May 7-day trial na pwede namin matesting, then magbabayad kami 180. Ganon. Diba? Ganon naman dapat. Which is correct. Kung satisfied kami on the content alone, sabihin na natin sulit. Okay? I-close na natin to. Masyadong mahaba. Pero, so congratulations, Top Sports, Tap DMV for gaining the WWE rights here in the Philippines. And it's good. Pero sana pa-adjust na rin ng oras ng mga shows kasi medyo late, masyadong late yung 12 midnight for the first replay of every WWE show na meron doon sa platform. Unless okay lang kung may may live programming, okay lang. As long as as long as you guys can put it immediately after. Kasi masyadong too much naman yung 12 midnight. Like wala naman nanonood ng 12 midnight. Maghahanap na lang sila ng third party nun. No? So yan lang naman. So anyways, the news that we got and we're talking about is Top Sports is now the exclusive home of the WWE programming here in the Philippines. And also AEW. If you're into AEW is also on Premier Sports, which is the alternative channel for Tap DMV. No? Ayan, let's continue our talks here with the Raw 30 and yung SmackDown Tag Team Tournament. So, SmackDown has a tournament for weeks now. And here's the progress of the tournament. I'm not going to do the rambling pa. No. So, we have a number 1 contendership tournament. With the winners of the tournament will face the Usos down the line, probably after Royal Rumble. So, Banger Bros defeated the Viking Raiders. Los Lotarios. Heat Row defeated Los Lotarios. Then, Brawling Brutes defeated Imperium. Reverse pala. Imperium defeated Brawling Brutes. Then, Legado del Fantasma defeated Maximum Male Models. Tag team. So, naset sa SmackDown for tomorrow's SmackDown is Banger Bros versus Heat Row. Then, Imperium versus Legado. So, with the winners will face each other in the tag team finals of the SmackDown number 1 contendership tournament. So, yeah, it's smart. It's good. Well, let's go to Raw 30 now. So, wala naman ganong big deal aside doon sa contract signing. Kaya in-ignore ko na yung buong SmackDown. Let's go to Raw 30. So, Hulk Hogan kicked off the show. No one cares about Hulk Hogan at this point. Okay, so let's start things up with ito. So let's start things with the trial of Sami Zayn. So maraming nagko-complain dito about kung paano naging ganto kahaba yung trial na to. Yes, marami nag-complain kung gaano naging kahaba itong trial of Sami na ito eh. Kasi sobrang haba nito. Entrance 5 minutes, yung buong trial is almost 30 minutes. Then, nandun pa yung Usos versus Judgment Day, which is almost 20 minutes with commercial. No? So, syempre marami nag-complain doon. No? Na masyadong maraming nakain oras yung trial. Medyo 50-50 ako dito. I love the booking of the trial. However, they have to sacrifice one match because of this, which is the steel cage between Bayley and Becky Lynch. So it's disappointing. Akala ko nga ito yung magme-main event kasi they're hyping this for weeks. But no, we got this Lashley and Theory for the US title closing the show. I must say it's not bad. But yeah, almost 14 minutes na nga lang yung buong match with commercials. Okay. So the trial of Sami, sinabi ni Roman na wala nang pan-defense si Sami, no? Then nung i-hit na ni Solo si Sami ng ng spike, Samoan spike. Si Jey Uso is the one who saved Sami Zayn from the assault. And then ayun, naglabas na siya ng exhibit para ma-defend si Sami Zayn. Then ito na nga. Sinabi ni Roman in the end na non-guilty si Sami Zayn and kailangan hindi siya makikita ni Roman in the rest of the show. No? O aantayin niya yung Royal Rumble para ma-prove niya in the final test na dapat maging member siya ng Bloodline. So, after of that, we got the tag titles, the Raw Tag Team titles. So, it's Judgment Day challenging the Usos for the Raw Tag Team titles. In the half of the show, half of the match, si Jimmy Uso got injured. I don't know it's Jimmy or Jay. I think it's Jimmy who got injured. Then, eventually, Jay Uso and Sammy. Si Sammy, ewan ko kung weird ito Pero Adam Pearce allowed Sami Zayn na maging the substitute of the match. I know this is subjective. No? Siya yung naging sub for the Uso who got injured. I know this is kayfabe injury naman. But yeah, it's weird to see the rule, yung tawag ba dito, yung pre-bird rule is being overused through the years, no? And yeah, the Usos and Sami Zayn got the win. But I'm smelling something here. Parang weird. Kasi anong mapapala natin about that? Kung paano natin mababali yung rulings sa tag teams. Sana bigyan nyo na lang ng excuse na okay, tag team champions na rin si Sami. So technically, naka-pre-bird na kami. So in the beginning, dapat binigyan nyo na lang sana siya ng pre-bird rule. Mas madali yun, di ba? Eto, so pagkatapos nitong match na to, so we got a Undertaker and LA Knight segment, but Bray Wyatt interrupt. And ayun na nga, atakihin ni Undertaker si LA Knight. Then, binigay ni Undertaker kay Bray Wyatt yung attack. And they decided na si Bray na yung umatake. And he hit LA Knight with a Sister Abigail, and that was it. That was the segment. Ito. So, on this Raw night, Raw 30, ang running gag dito is yung tawag dito, yung gambling backstage. So basically, andun yung current talents, very understandable. Yung mga former talents, specifically yung former woman, wala nga tayong mahagilap na former woman dito sa buong show natin. Dito papasok ko ngayon yung Bellas, mamaya pag-usapan natin after nitong Raw 30. So, yung Bellas ngayon is nagko-complain kung bakit hindi mabigyan ng slot o hindi man nang ma-acknowledge yung mga women from the past, like yan sila Mercedes, sila AJ Lee, and many more. And ewan ko paano ba i-defend. Pero sabihin ko lang, ang pangit nga talaga ng pag-acknowledge nila doon sa women. Napakita nila, yes, pero iba pa din yung kahit man lang ipakita nyo man lang. Ginawa nila to nung Raw 25. Ba't hindi nila magawa ngayon? Kasi pa-priority nyo pa yung putang ng Raw reunion between DX. Yung reunion ng DX na hindi naman natin kailangan taon-taon. Hindi natin kailangan taon-taon ng reunion ng DX. Magpakatotoo na tayo. I love DX. I am a DX guy. But we don't need fucking DX reunions every time we do these big shows. I swear to God, we don't need these opinions or reunions every fucking time they're doing these big shows. Like, yun. So, sacrifice din yung steel cage thanks to this fucking reunion. So, Kurt Angle join DX for the night. So, yeah, hindi natin ganong to. We have a tag match, six-man tag, Street Profits at Rollins versus the whole Imperium with Teddy Long making the match official for the trios tag match. Yeah, obviously the faces getting the win. Okay. So we got Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville match. And so parang sinabi ni Charlotte appeared on the show as SmackDown Women's Champion. And sasabihin ko lang sa inyo, parang ang weird nitong Raw 30 na to. They're focusing on the SmackDown talents. No? Hindi naman to SmackDown. Number one, it's not SmackDown. This is Raw. Why you guys giving the spot to SmackDown talents? Labo eh. Ewan ko ang labo niya. Like ito, kantsawan na nga rin natin yung kina Bray Wyatt. Like, bakit may Bray Wyatt segment on this fucking Raw 30? Like, what? Why we have this? Pwede naman natin i-save on the SmackDown, di ba? Total, may isa pang SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, di ba? Okay. Main event. We have the United States title, Lashley challenging Austin Theory for the US title. And yun, retain yung title. It's fine. Then Brock Lesnar ruined the fun. And basically the whole ending of this whole show is so flat. The match is fine. The ending, however, alam mo yung umakyat ka ng Ferris wheel. Pataas yun, pataas. When Brock Lesnar arrived, wala. It goes flat. And he F5'd both Lashley and Theory. Then, yung F5 na yun, sumakto kay Lashley. Pinning yun. May pin. So, Lashley lost thanks to Brock Lesnar. Ewan ko, parang ang plot niya to the things na, why we're getting this? Why we're getting this? It's turning, it's turning black. It's turning ridiculous to me. And it's stupid. Okay. So, yun lang muna for our first half of our WWE talk here. We will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will talk about the 2K23. We will talk about the Bellas rambling on Twitter and on Instagram live. Konti lang naman pag-usapan natin ng konti. Then, magda-divert na tayo papuntang NXT. And our predictions for this year's Royal Rumble in a bit when we come back. And for now, let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Hey everyone, this is Mo Twister, and you're listening to the Kingdom Podcast with the voice DJ Yuki.
That was the OG, Mo Twister, promoting this podcast. If you like Korean pop culture, or know someone who does, then get into it, and visit our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages at the Kingdom Pod PH.
We're proud to tell you that this is one of the premier shows to go to for your weekly dose of K-pop. So drop everything and listen to the Kingdom Podcast. Available in all your podcast streaming platforms.
Join us!
Welcome back to the podcast. Again, this show is available on all of the podcast platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and on TikTok at the MTG Show Pod. And also, this podcast is available on all of the streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the rest of the podcast platforms near you. Okay, let's continue the fun over here. Still with WWE. Let's talk about the Bellas. So, the Bellas live. Nag-live ang Bellas. Sorry, na-flat ako doon. So, nag-live ang Bellas, the Bella Twins, doon sa kanilang Instagram account dahil nakahanda sila actually for Raw 30. But parang na-upset sila on the way they're mentioning the women. On the way they are acknowledging the woman here on the show. So, they're disappointed. Parang hindi man lang nila ma-mention si AJ Lee. Hindi man nila ma-mention si Saraya. Tsaka si Mercedes Monet. Obviously, New Japan now. Parang nagagalit sila na hindi man lang ma-acknowledge yung mga women here. Ito sinabi ko na on the first half, no, na simple lang yung pag-acknowledge po siya. Kahit man lang ipakita nyo man lang yung mga clips about the past women's revolution, okay na yun eh. Kasi women's revolution started on Raw. It's huge. Okay? So, yung history na yon, mapakita man lang in a video, okay na eh. Diba? Pero ito, what we got is a simple acknowledgement from Charlotte Flair. And ito na nga, yung sa poker running gag throughout the show. And iisa lang yung nandun na babae. It's Alundra Blaze. And hindi ko na masisisi if Bellas got sick and medyo nagalit sila about that, of how they treated the woman here. Buti na lang, bumawi sila kinabukasan thanks to NXT na dedicated to the women of NXT. May pag-usapan natin in a bit yung NXT. So, the Bellas, ito sa akin lang naman. Wala akong nakikitang mali sa pino-point out ng Bellas doon, no? Ang nakikita kasi nating mali kung paano nila binook yung mga top segments of the show. Knowing that 25 fucking minutes of the Sami Zayn trial, yung 10 minutes man lang nun, pwede sana magamit yun in the whole steel cage match. Parang napunta sa wala yung steel cage, no? It's a little bit disappointing kung tatanungin nyo ako bakit parang kakampihan natin tong Bellas. Yeah, it's on point. Kampihan natin, sige. Na they deserve better din naman. Women's deserves better. And nabibigay din naman ni H yung mga first, mga ganyan. When it comes to women's. But simple lang naman yung pakiusap ng mga tao. Sana naman respetuhin niyo yung women's division. Parang in their eyes, nagiging eye candy pa din sila. Parang they're still treated as eye candy, which is the fans hated the most. Kaya hindi rin natin masisisi. There's Impact Wrestling na priority yung women. AEW, medyo okay pa naman yung women's division nila. It's still tolerable. Kung naghahanap kayo ng best women's division in WWE, there's NXT. I swear to God, NXT women's division is so good. Panoorin niyo yung mga segments ng women's on NXT. They're really good. They're great. No? Okay. So, I'm going to say this once and for all before we cap the Bellas thing. So, we respect the women's, especially the past, the Bellas, ayan. We respect all of them. Yun ang point dito. Mali din naman yung placing ng mga segments ito, yung mga DX segments. Like, we don't need DX almost every special of Raw. We don't need DX. Definitely, we don't need this poker shit. Definitely, we don't need those traps. But why we're still carrying this? Like, we need to evolve. Let's focus on the present. With the same time, put over nyo naman yung mga current talents. Ganun lang naman. Ganun lang kasimple. And it's all good. Diba? Okay, continue tayo with the 2K23. Medyo makakalma ako dito. So, 2K released the first teasers of their game. So, ito personally, sabihan ko sa inyo, I don't play console games. Pero if ako ay naglalaro, putang ina, uupo ako doon siyang oras mahigit. I don't want console games. Sa totoo lang. Hindi ako naglalaro ng mga console. Kasi ayoko. Okay, so here's the details about the console game. So the premium of the game will be released on March 14, 2023, with the standard version of the 2K23 will be released on this March 17, 2023 in the US. So we will get four details or four types of 2K23. There will be standard, yung cross-gen, yung deluxe, and yung icon. So, iba-iba silang cover, pagkaalala ko. Hindi ko na i-picture dito kasi we're going to focus on the Rumble. And the game will be available on PC, desktops, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Yung important details that we got from that detail is yung 2K showcase is kinda interesting kasi ikaw mismo yung nalaban kay John Cena throughout the 2K showcase. Ang ganda nun, sobrang twist nun. And then, yung syempre may GM, may faction, and yung mga nakikita nyo on the recent 2K games is on the 2K23. Then, ito na rin yung debut ng War Games in the 2K games. So, it's a good thing that we got War Games now inside the 2K game. So, yeah. So, good to me. So, expect nyo na tong 2K na to. Baka malabas to sa Pilipinas by end of March or April 2023. So, yun lang naman. Let's go to NXT now. So, NXT, we got a really good NXT this week. Ayun. So, we got a really good NXT this week. Focusing on the women. First thing, we got Indy Hartwell versus Tiffany Stratton. So, Tiffany competed for the first time since her absence 5 months ago. She defeated Indy Hartwell in a singles match. Yeah, that was fun. That was great. I'm not going to say maganda. Okay. So then, we got the Thea Hale celebration. So, like what we said on last week, so defeated Valentina Feroz from last week. Then, yun na nga, nag-continue na yung storyline with Elektra Lopez. Well, it's good to me na they're using all of the women this week. Pambawi nila dun sa Raw 30 na kala mo Raw reunion but better. On paper, Then, ayun na. So, officially, nagkasundo na si Fallon Henley and si Kiana James to team up against, ayun, so they got Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. They got the win. And in the end of the show, they was booked for a NXT Women's Tag Team titles at NXT Vengeance Day. So, yeah. At first, si Fallon, hindi siya nag-agree on the idea na i-book sila in a tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. We will talk about this next week kasi may predictions tayo next week. Then, yun. Okay. Then, we got the Creed Brothers versus the Creeds. Creeds tuloy. Creeds versus Creeds. So, we get the Creed Brothers versus Indus Share for next week's NXT. Jinder is now part of the stable. So, basically, it's a 3-man stable now. Pabor sa akin yun. Sa totoo lang. 3-man stable sila. Then, ayun, it's so nice to see Jinder being the center of everything right now. Then, it's very interesting to see on paper what we're getting pagka si Jinder talaga yung nagiging masterpiece of everything what we're getting in them. Diba? Ayun. So, ano pa ba? We get ano pa ba? So, obviously, we get some smaller segments on NXT this week. So, Elektra Lopez, first thing, So, she defeated Wendy Chu in a match. Parang ito yung sinabi na tinuturuan niya si Valentina Feroz na mag-cheat to win. She needs to win and eventually she failed again. Then, ano pa ba? So, we got a segment between Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller. And Grayson dodged a spear of Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker speared the barricade of NXT, which is wild in my opinion. We cannot wait to see this match on the platforms. Obviously, we don't get this on Disney Plus, by the way. Yeah, it's a bummer. Then we got Steamy Turner. So, this streaming woman, ito yung gimmick niya. Nag-i-stream siya. She's getting the opinions, ganyan, parang Grayson Waller. Pero nag-i-stream. So, streamer. Titigan natin next week kung ano yung magiging complete package niya. Kasi on the first impression ko, she's a heel. No? Parang heel siya. Pero parang mukha siyang face sa tingin ko. Parang face siya. Pero on the way I see the booking, she's a heel. Hindi ko maintindihan. Malalaman natin next week kung siya ba ay heel or kung siya ba ay face. Okay. So we get the tag team titles match between Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Kaden Carter versus Alba Fire and Sol Ruka. So we got this tag team title match. Then, ayun na nga, na-official na nga yung 2KC versus Fallon Henley and Kiana James for NXT Vengeance Day, which is we will discuss next week. Then, so after of the match, si Alba Fire was saved by an interesting name in the name of Isla Dawn. In the name of Isla Dawn, it's very interesting to see. Parang ano lang to dati ah. Magkalaman to dati ah. So, one enemy of my friend is my enemy now. So, we're getting that one. Then, ano na nga. So, we get another woman segment. So, Nikita Lyons was attacked in the parking lot. Although, we don't have the detail on who or who's the attacker. We don't know yet. Pero according on our Twitter account earlier today, that was a write-off. So, Nikita Lyons was write-off TV on that way because she's injured. Yung ACL niya got injured sa binti yun, sa knee niya. So, yeah. Get well soon. Then, ayun na nga, final segment of the show was a Toxic Attraction and Roxanne Perez in a Women's Titles Summit. So, Toxic Attraction tripped Roxanne Perez. Parang tinrip niya na lang na hindi na sila magkakasundo as members of Toxic Attraction. In the end, they attacked Roxanne Perez. And, yun, it's pretty interesting to see what's coming in the couple of weeks pa. Pagka nangyari na yung match sa Vengeance Day on September 4th or February 4th. September 4th. Masyadong maaga. So yeah, we're looking forward then on NXT Vengeance Day. Sana naman i-available to on Disney Plus. Then that would be great. Tatlong pay-per-view agad. Tatlong premium live event yung magiging available on Disney Plus sa February. Yung Royal Rumble, yung Elimination Chamber, and ito, Vengeance Day. It's a plus. Then, let's talk about Dynamite now. So, Dynamite, we got the special tribute for Jay Briscoe. So, we get Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal earlier in the main event because nagbago yung isip ni Warner na sige mag-appear ka na dyan sa Dynamite. Allowed na sila mag-appear. So, yeah, it's good for the Briscoes. Sana makapag-isip-isip na rin si Turner na magkaroon na rin ng weekly show for Ring of Honor for their brand. Sana magkaroon na rin sila, putya. Sobrang long overdue na yun. They need a weekly show on the TV sa Turner, not only on internet sa Honor Club, but yeah. So let's do a recap on everything what happened on today's Dynamite. So Darby Allin defeated sino nga ito, nakalimutan ko. Si Matthews ng House of Black. Hindi ko tanda pangalan nito eh. Hindi ko tanda pangalan nito ni Buddy Murphy. Murphy the Tati. So he was defeated by Darby Allin to retain the TNT Championship. Then Samoa Joe appeared afterwards. And ito na nga, he was asked for a rematch, and the match was set for next week's Dynamite. No? Then yun. So yun, we got a special video for Jay Briscoe, rest in peace. We got a special footage of the video. And then ayun. So yun lang naman. We got some special matches. Bryan Danielson versus Brian Cage. So yeah, that was a really, really good match. Ang pangit lang nung end finish. So, you know, MJF loves to ruin endings. Then, ayun na nga, we got a special announcement. So, MJF revealed as well that Danielson will fight Timothy Thatcher on next week's episode of Dynamite. Yeah, it's very interesting to see Team Thatcher on AEW programming. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen next week. I would love to see what's going to happen next week. And we're getting excited for everything next week. Especially we're getting John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. Then the rematch for the TNT title. Then it's so fucking huge card for next week's Dynamite. Then ayun na nga. So nagse-cement na yung yung feud for a possible blood and guts between the homegrown of AEW and yung former WWE talents. Yan sila Saraya, sila Tony Storm. Medyo nagiging clear na yung storyline na ganon. No? For now, wala pa rin akong interest dito. Then, ayun na nga, main event. Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. Yeah, it's a fun segment. What a emotional, fun segment that was. And I'm still emotional about what happened on that very episode of Dynamite. The main event of Dynamite. Yeah, that was emotional as hell. And thank you for AEW and Turner for finally they allowed this thing to happen. Then ayun, yun lang naman for our Dynamite thoughts and opinions. And after nitong short break na ito, we will return for a short break. Then pag-usapan natin yung aking predictions for this year's Royal Rumble, and then mag-cap off na tayo for this week's episode of the podcast. We will take a short break and let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
I can't. I'm sick.
Weh, yung tataa.
Boo, you whore. Di-lockdown pa rin.
Huh? 2021 na.
So, anong gagawin natin?
Di, magstay na lang sa house at makinig sa Astrology, the podcast. With new episodes every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
A new world has come for the cinematic universe we live in.
Leave your belongings and make sure you're ready to enter in this new world.
This is Cinephiles, a podcast created by two self-proclaimed cinephiles who love talking anything about films.
Catch us every Wednesdays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. So join us as we enter to the new world of Cinephiles.
Okay, so welcome back to the podcast. Let's do our Royal Rumble predictions. Okay, so details lang about this upcoming premium live event. This PLE is available in the Philippines exclusively on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, then you can watch the premium live event in full as low as 119 pesos a month. You can access Disney Plus, all of the content with that cheap pricing, 119 pesos. Of course, you can pay by GCash and everything related about Disney Plus. So, of course, Alipay, yung Google, you can pay on that as well. And then, so let's talk about the predictions for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view premium live event. First thing, before that, let's talk about the question that our patron sent to me. So, ito. What is my favorite Royal Rumble? So, by the way, hi, kay Rider OC. Hindi ko na na-mention in the start kasi mahaba yung mga napag-usapan natin throughout the show. Pasensya na. So, first thing. So, what is my favorite Royal Rumble winner? And, sino yung favorite Royal Rumble winner ko? Plus, which winner had the most significant win ever? Eto, so, pag-usapan natin. Yung favorite Royal Rumble ko was the Royal Rumble 20... Ito, napanood ko personally was the 204, 205, 207, 206, 208, 10, then 12 hanggang 14, then 17 hanggang ngayon. Napanood ko lahat yon. No? 16 napanood ko din. In full yun in full premium live event. Pero yung matches almost lahat napanood ko. Yun. So, my favorite Royal Rumble will always be the Royal Rumble when Rey Mysterio won. On paper, that was bad. Kasi, it kinda reminds me of something na, ito, may namatay. Ibigyan kita ng privilege para mabigyan natin ng tribute. So, yun, parang ang cliche. Pero on reality, Rey Mysterio's win in the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite Royal Rumbles. Ayun. So, plus pa, dagdag ko 2008. The 2008 Royal Rumble will always be one of my favorite Royal Rumbles in history of the recent era. No? Yung Royal Rumble na to, 2008, sobrang sobrang climatic. Sobrang climatic. Kung ako yung tatanungin nyo. Sobrang kwela panoorin. And yung angas itong Royal Rumble na to, itong pagiging fun, itong Royal Rumble na to, that was great as hell. Booking this Royal Rumble is one of the most unpredictable, if you're asking me. No? And yeah, that was great. And yung unexpected return ni Cena, na hindi talaga natin in-expect noong 2008, that was hell as fun. And I love that Royal Rumble. Although Cena lost. So it's weird. Okay. So yung most significant Royal Rumble win, ang hirap ito eh. I love the Rey Mysterio win. I will always be the guy who will love the Rey Mysterio win. On paper, I can mention the Chris Benoit win in the Royal Rumble. So 2004, he started the Rumble. Then he won the heavyweight title at WrestleMania. So, his win makes sense as well. And significant yun. Pero pinipilit siyang burahin ng WWE knowing what happened to him. But yeah, it's a significant win on my own. Also, 2006 will always be one of my favorite Royal Rumble wins in the history. Yun lang naman. Then, let's go to the predictions now. By the way, guys, if you want to be part of our Patreon community, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod. So, again, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod. Yeah. Let's do to our predictions for the PLE, Royal Rumble PLE. Will take place this Sunday, 9 a.m. on Disney Plus in the Philippines, Peacock in the United States, WWE elsewhere, Sony Sports Network in India, Binge in Australia, and the rest of countries, Indonesia by Disney Plus Hotstar, and the rest by Disney or WWE Network elsewhere. Let's do this. So the predictions on the card. Let's start with the Pitch Black match. Was sponsored by Mountain Dew, by the way. Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. Pag nagsiseryoso si Bray Wyatt, alam kong matatalo siya. Do you remember the 2017? Then, etong kay Orton dati. He lost to Randy Orton. Pag nagsiseryoso siya, ganon yun. Medyo, yeah, he's still building the character. Pero parang nai-slowan ako on the way they're building the character. I know alay dito sa LA Knight. But at the same time, they're building him as a big name too. No? But, considering LA Knight getting the win here, is this will degrade Bray Wyatt? Personally, I would say no. Kasi hindi pa naman tapos yung pagbibuild ng character niya as a whole, yung Wyatt 6 na binibuild nila as a universe ngayon. Yun ang inaantay muna natin. So, kumbaga parang hindi pa tapos ang Wyatt 6 para masyadong maaga para siya matalo. Pero okay, I'm going to give my prediction to Bray Wyatt. Pero nafe-feel ko that LA might get the win eventually. And yeah, feeling ko LA Knight. May chance din si LA dito. Pero I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. Then, Alexa Bliss challenging Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. Wala pang stipulation, pero feeling ko, sinabi nila may stip daw eh. Alam ko may stip to eh. So, okay. I think Bianca Belair will retain. Okay, obvious naman. Ayan. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE title. Okay, given na to. Roman Reigns will win. Given na to eh. Given na to eh. Sobrang given na nito eh. Roman will retain. Will go to WrestleMania as the champion. Okay? Then, ang exciting dito, before we go, ang exciting dito, if Roman Reigns will be helped by Sami Zayn or eventually, hindi niya tutulungan parehas. Hindi tutulungan ni Sami Zayn parehas. Yan ang dapat nating abangan dito. So, if si Sami ba ay may loyalty pa din kay Roman or yung loyalty niya ay nasa kaibigan niya na 20 years niya ng kaibigan which is KO. Doon natin malalaman on the Royal Rumble itself. So, nandun yung story natin malalaman. Eh, obvious naman kung sino naman nanalo dito. It's very given. Then, ayun. So, we have the men's Royal Rumble and the women's Royal Rumble. First, women's Royal Rumble. It's hard. It's hard. Personally, the women's is hard. The men's is easy. Yung women's Royal Rumble, on the top, there's Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan possibly winning the women's Royal Rumble. Possible din Raquel, pero on my top of my head, there's Raquel and Rhea Ripley na posibleng manalo ng Royal Rumble. And I will not if Rhea Ripley wins, man. Magnanats ako dito po, Jack. Pag nanalo si Rhea, I swear to God, man, it's gonna be a big celebration if Rhea wins the Royal Rumble. Man, men's, putangin na, given na to eh. Given na to eh. Okay. Formality na lang. So, Cody or The Rock, o mag-appear man si The Rock, it's very 50-50. Kasi hindi ako naniniwala sa news na lumalabas ngayon na possibly The Rock won't appear at the Royal Rumble because of some reasons. Pero di ako naniniwala doon. Naniniwala ako na Rock will appear at the Royal Rumble or Cody is still on the book na siya yung mananalo ng Royal Rumble match this year. Pero kung hindi naman silang dalawa, wala pa si Sami sa card eh. So, mahirap. Mahirap i-predict. Pwede rin Finn Balor kung tutusin. Kung gusto kong mag-pick outside of the Cody Rock universe. I'm gonna go with Finn Balor. Finn Balor Royal Rumble winner would be great too. Pero yeah. Ayun, that was it for our Royal Rumble predictions. Let me know your thoughts about the whole Royal Rumble. Please use our hashtag Royal Rumble, hashtag the MT Show Podcast. And you can catch all of the Royal Rumble happenings on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is our exclusive WWE network. And we will have Tagalog commentary as well. Thanks to our friends, Carlo Pamintuan and Stan C. Okay. So, right now, we're ending the program. We're ending the podcast with our picks. Now, pag-usapan natin yung ating mga stuff na ito. Our superstar of the week is Bobby Lashley. Yeah, he won the gauntlet match. Yeah, that was fun. The woman of the week was Tiffany Stratton. And sabi ko dito na I'm impressed on her transformation as a character. And yeah, nag-improve siya sa akin as a character. And her run so far is impressive on NXT. Then the match of the week is Bryan Danielson versus Bandido from Dynamite last week. That was fun. Kung hindi ito nangyari, probably ang pipiliin ko is yung main event ng Impact Wrestling between Mike Bailey and Kenny King in a pit fight match, yung fight pit match on this week's Impact Wrestling. So, if you want to watch it. That will be great too. And that was a really good match as well. And before the Royal Rumble, you can watch it as well. As low as 25 pesos. Okay, that was it for our Royal Rumble predictions. That was a lot. Pasensya na, medyo napakaba yung ating episode. So, this week's episode of the podcast is long because this is Royal Rumble. Follow the podcast on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and on TikTok at the MTG Show Pod. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/the MTG Show Pod. You can donate and support the podcast as well on Gank and Patreon, ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. As low as $1 a month, you can access to our subscriber-only content, reviews, content, spoilers, everything, ratings. Ando na rin sa ating Patreon and Gank, patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod as well on our Patreon and Gank. For more podcasts, visit our network website, thebunkph.com. You can support us on all of the social media platforms at The Bunk PH. So, yun, join our Discord server. The server link is on description. Also on Bunk, dsc.gg/bunk. The podcast is available on all of the podcast platforms and on the podcast app. And please rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. 5 stars, 6 in Tokyo Dome. So all of the links is available, by the way, on linktr.ee/the MTG Show Podcast and my social media platforms at on Instagram and Twitter at EG Penera. Ano, please support MWF and FPW for their everything. What's going on right now? May galaw-galaw sila doon. Meron silang training. If you want to be a wrestler, then go to their respective boot camps. And ayun, may details naman sila on all of the socials of MWF and FPW. You can check that out on their respective social media platforms. Okay. So, in behalf of all of us here on Bang Collective, and of course to my producer DJ Yuki of the Kingdom Podcast, in cooperation with Bang Collective, this has been episode number 146. That's the MD Show Podcast. See you next week for the fallout of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, see you next week for the podcast. Bye-bye.